Hi, welcome to CrimeSphere, the ultimate channel for deep dives into the shadows of history where crime, power, and intrigue collide. If you're a fan of true crime, organized crime legends, or the hidden power dynamics that have shaped the world, you've come to the right place. Today, we're exploring one of the most chilling and fascinating topics in history, the most notorious crime families in history. These aren't just criminals, they're legends. Families that controlled empires worth billions, outmaneuvered governments, and became immortalized in popular culture. Their influence was so pervasive that they shaped economies, politics, and even international relations. We'll take you from the back alleys of 19th century Italy to the skyscrapers of New York City, from secretive samurai roots in Japan to the blood-soaked deserts of Mexico. These stories are filled with betrayal, unimaginable violence, and a relentless hunger for power. So, grab your favorite drink, settle in, and get ready to uncover the stories of the most infamous families to ever walk the earth. And hey, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We release new episodes regularly, and trust me, you won't want to miss what we have in store. Let's dive in. Number 1. The Gambino crime family, United States. Let's start with one of the most famous mafia families in American history, the Gambino crime family. This family became synonymous with organized crime during its heyday in the mid-20th century. The roots of the Gambino family go back to the early 1900s when Sicilian immigrants brought the traditions of the Italian Mafia to New York. Under Carlo Gambino, the family rose to unprecedented power. Gambino himself was the epitome of discretion, a stark contrast to some of the more flamboyant crime bosses. He knew the art of keeping a low profile, which allowed him to rule the underworld for decades without drawing too much attention from law enforcement. But everything changed when John Gotti took over in the 1980s. Known as the Dapper Don for his expensive suits and the Teflon Don because no charges ever seemed to stick, Gotti brought the Gambino family into the limelight. Reveled in media attention, often seen smiling and waving at reporters outside courtrooms. His lavish lifestyle made him a celebrity, but it also made him a target for law enforcement. One of Gotti's most infamous acts was orchestrating the assassination of his own boss, Paul Castellano, in 1985. Castellano was gunned down outside a Manhattan steakhouse in broad daylight, an audacious movie that shocked the world. Gotti's reign ended in 1992 when his underboss, Sammy "the Bull" Gravano, turned state's witness. Gravano's testimony led to Gotti's conviction, and the Teflon Don finally went to prison. Today, the Gambino family is a shadow of its former self, but its name remains etched in the annals of American crime history. Number 2. The Medici family, Italy. The Medici family may not fit the traditional mold of a crime family, but make no mistake, their legacy is steeped in corruption, betrayal, and power plays that would put any modern mafia family to shame. Rising to prominence in 15th century Florence, the Medicis were bankers who controlled one of the most powerful financial institutions in Europe. They financed popes, kings, and wars. But their real power lay in their ability to manipulate politics from behind the scenes. Lorenzo de' Medici, known as Lorenzo the Magnificent, was both a patron of the arts and a ruthless political operator. He maintained control of Florence through bribery, intimidation, and strategic alliances. His enemies, including rival banking families, conspired against him in what became known as the Pazzi Conspiracy. The plot culminated in an attempted assassination during Easter Mass in 478. Lorenzo survived, but his brother Giuliano was killed in the attack. The Medici family's influence extended to the Vatican itself. Members of the family became popes, most famously Pope Leo X and Pope Clement VI. While they were supposed to represent moral authority, they used their positions to enrich the family further, leading to widespread corruption in the Catholic Church. Number 3. The Yamaguchi-gumi, Japan. In Japan, the Yamaguchi-gumi stands as the most powerful Yakuza syndicate in history, controlling vast swaths of the country's underworld. Founded in 1915, the Yamaguchi-gumi started as a small group of dockworkers in Kobe. Over time, it grew into a massive organization with over 20,000 members. The Yakuza are infamous for their involvement in drug trafficking, extortion, and prostitution, but they also operate legitimate businesses, from real estate to stock market investments. The Yamaguchi-gumi is unique in its structure, functioning almost like a corporation. It has a strict hierarchy, with the Oyabun, boss, At the top and the koban, subordinates, below. Members are expected to adhere to a strict code of loyalty, and those who break the rules often face brutal punishment, including the practice of yubitsume, where a member cuts off their own finger as an act of penance. Despite crackdowns by Japanese authorities, the Yamaguchi-gumi remains a formidable force. Number 4. The Sinaloa Cartel, Mexico. In the world of drug cartels, few names strike fear like the Sinaloa Cartel. Led by Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, the cartel built a multi-billion-dollar drug empire. What set the Sinaloa Cartel apart was its innovation in drug trafficking. From sophisticated tunnels under the US-Mexico border to using submarines and drones, they revolutionized the smuggling trade. El Chapo's legend grew with his dramatic prison escapes. In 2015, he escaped from a maximum security prison through a mile-long tunnel equipped with lights and ventilation, a feat that seems straight out of a Hollywood movie. But the cartel's power isn't just about drugs. They've infiltrated every level of Mexican society, from local police forces to high-ranking politicians. Their brutality, including public executions and mass graves, has left an indelible scar on Mexico. Number 5. The Genovese crime family, United States. The Genovese crime family is often called the Ivy League of organized crime for its cunning and sophistication. Under the leadership of Lucky Luciano, the family was instrumental in creating the Commission, a governing body for the Mafia. This structure allowed the Mafia to resolve disputes and manage territories without descending into chaos. Luciano himself was a visionary. In the 1930s, he orchestrated the downfall of his own boss, Joe Masseria, in what became known as the Castellamarese War. This move allowed Luciano to restructure the Mafia, turning it into a well-oiled machine. Number 6. The Bratva, Russia. The Russian Mafia, commonly known as Bratva, emerged as an underground force during the Soviet era. Initially formed in prison camps, these groups organized themselves into structured crime syndicates that operated under strict codes of loyalty and secrecy. With the Soviet Union's collapse in the late 1980s, chaos erupted as state-owned industries were privatized. This period created an unprecedented opportunity for the Bratva to expand their influence, filling the void left by a disintegrating government. The Bratva distinguished itself with its brutal tactics, relying on extreme violence to maintain control. Extortion, contract killings, and human trafficking became the hallmark of their operations. However, their reach extended far beyond traditional criminal activities. By infiltrating businesses and bribing officials, the Bratva became a significant player in global politics and economics. One of the defining characteristics of the Bratva is its global network. Operating in over 50 countries, they have been linked to arms smuggling, drug trafficking, and cybercrime. The advent of the internet has allowed the Bratva to pioneer cyber fraud, orchestrating large-scale hacking operations and ransomware attacks. Their reach and adaptability make them one of the most dangerous and resilient criminal organizations in the world. Figures like Semyon Mogilev, often dubbed the Brainy Don, exemplify the Bratva's cunning. Mogilevich was known for running sophisticated scams that defrauded victims out of millions, often without leaving a trace. His ability to evade prosecution earned him a place on the FBI's most wanted list. The Bratva's ability to adapt and integrate into legitimate industries ensures their influence remains formidable. Unlike many crime families that faltered under law enforcement scrutiny, the Bratva has survived and thrived by evolving with the times. Number 7. The Camorra, Italy. The Camorra is one of Italy's oldest crime organizations, with roots stretching back to the 17th century. Based in Naples, it initially operated as a loose network of criminal gangs before evolving into a more structured organization. Unlike the hierarchical structure of the Sicilian Mafia, the Camorra functions through decentralized clans, each with its own leadership and agenda. Throughout its history, the Camorra has been notorious for its involvement in drug trafficking, arms smuggling, and extortion. They are also infamous for their role in waste management scandals, where they illegally dumped toxic waste for enormous profits, leaving a devastating environmental impact on southern Italy. Internal rivalries are a defining feature of the Camorra. Feuds between clans often erupt into violent wars, with public assassinations and collateral damage terrorizing communities. One of the most infamous conflicts, known as the Scampia feud, claimed hundreds of lives in the early 2010s. The Camorra has had a significant impact on popular culture. The book Camorra by journalist Roberto Saviano, which exposed their operations, became an international bestseller and was adapted into an award-winning film and TV series. However, Saviano's work also made him a target. forcing him to live under constant police protection. While law enforcement has made strides in dismantling some clans, the decentralized nature of the Camorra makes it difficult to eliminate entirely. Its ability to regenerate and adapt ensures that it remains a potent force in the criminal underworld. Number 8. The Bonanno crime family, United States. The Bonanno crime family is one of New York City's original 5 families that dominated organized crime in the United States. Founded in the early 20th century, the family rose to prominence under Joseph Bonanno, also known as Joe Bananas. Bonanno's leadership style emphasized discipline and unity, earning the family significant respect among their peers. During its heyday, the Bonanno family controlled lucrative rackets including gambling, loan sharking, and narcotics trafficking. Their influence extended into legitimate businesses, allowing them to launder money and evade law enforcement scrutiny. The Bonanno family's downfall began with the infamous Donnie Brasco operation. Undercover FBI agent Joseph Pistone infiltrated the family in the late 1970s, gaining their trust and learning their secrets, and conviction of dozens of members, exposing the inner workings of the Mafia to the public like never before. The family's reputation was further tarnished by internal power struggles. A failed attempt by Joseph Bonanno to seize control of the Mafia Commission, known as the Banana War, led to his forced retirement and the family's exclusion from the Mafia's governing body for years. Despite its decline, the Bonanno name still carries weight in organized crime lore. The family's history serves as a cautionary tale of how internal betrayal and law enforcement pressure can unravel even the most powerful organizations. From the Bratva's global cybercrimes to the Indran Shita's chokehold on the cocaine trade, these families represent the dark side of power and ambition. If you enjoyed this deep dive, give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to CrimeSphere for more thrilling content. Let us know in the comments which family shocked or fascinated you the most. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and remember, the truth is often stranger than fiction.